coming back to your position as a coach, you are one of the only few female coaches that I know. I personally know. I mean, most probably there'll be a lot, but that it's involved in high performance. What will be the biggest challenges you have faced over your career?
Well, I actually didn't look at it that way, because I started noticing it when, like, my colleagues or people like you that are working in really, they're doing amazing jobs, like with the science and sports and ITU and cycling, when they started asking me this question. And I was like, well, was it ever a problem actually? And then when you think about it, you notice that in the beginning it was hard, but it is strange, you know, it is strange to start and be, even at university, when we did our master's degree, we were like 60 students and 5 girls in my like performance section. But I didn't notice it, you know, even in, for instance, in Team Novo Nordisk, because in triathlon you have some coaches, but in cycling even less female coaches. So in Team Novo Nordisk, I didn't have this perception, for instance. Moreover, I feel like I'm one of the guys, and it's been amazing because they've been really like gentlemen, and it's an amazing team. Maybe because the team is really amazing, they really made me feel like home, and I'm really proud to be one of the guys. And they're helping me, you know, they helped me to integrate from the first moment. And the other thing that I must say is that when you arrive and when you achieve your goal, which may be high, they appreciate you more, you know. In the beginning, it may be strange, and maybe, you know, you may feel that you don't belong to this kind of world, but when you arrive to your goal, they really appreciate you more, because, that's my advice actually, you know, don't put yourself the self-limits that don't exist. I mean, the only limit may be, you know, I don't know how to arrive there, but the limit shouldn't be I'm a woman and I don't know how to arrive there. Absolutely. I was really happy that, for instance, at Team Novo Nordisk and university, they gave me the opportunity to speak, to make my mistakes, and to make them, you know, to show what I'm worth. So when you have this opportunity, you need to grab it and you need to make the best of it. And afterwards, like, everything happens. If you're a girl or a boy, it doesn't matter. Absolutely. So
that's what
the most important thing is how are you made, and the other thing is what you know. So
yeah,
not a problem at all.
This is when because we're having an issue with that, because we don't have many female coaches involved, and we still don't know what's the reason behind, or if there is something we can do to revert it, kind of. But to me, it's not about being male or female. It's about being able to deliver what you are hired for. I mean, you need to do a job. Can you do it correctly? Yes. Then it doesn't really matter, because knowledge has no sex. This is my philosophy. But I do agree with you when you mentioned that when you study, we're only 6. You say 6 girls, no? In the club.
6 girls. Yeah.
Yeah. In my promotion, I think we are almost 90, and there were only 6 girls too. So when I studied sports science, so I don't know what is the reason behind not having so many girls involved in the high performance. So what's your perception?
I hope that it's, you know, just the interest. I mean, if you go to the dancing academy, you're probably going to find more girls, but still there are going to be some boys. So I just hope that it's just interest, that it's not the fear of unsuccess, because you can be successful. I mean, the only thing that matters is what are you capable of doing and what do you know. I mean, I need to try hard as much as my male colleague needs to try hard in Team Novo Nordisk, in university for the national team. It's the same. It's absolutely the same. And I really think that it's not a problem of, you know, of sex. So I don't know. I just hope that it's not, you know, I just hope that girls are not missing the courage to try and do something in high performance endurance sport, because it's not male sport. Absolutely.
No,
it's just a
definitely.
bit different. It needs some time to change, but you just need to be courageous and it's going to be fine.
It's gonna be fine. I do believe nowadays cycling is not like 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. So people starting, to have a more open mind and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think there will be, I would say like sexist comments against a female coach, or you'll be seen over the shoulder, or I don't think that's the situation nowadays.
No, absolutely.
Do you think, because I'm part of the ITU, and this is a topic that always we discuss among, Marisol, the president of the ITU, was in one of these coffee talks last week, and we also had a little bit of chat about this topic. Is there anything we can do to encourage more girls to come on board at any level, do you think? Or it's just a matter of they having the interest and that's it?
No, I think that the main problem is, that's my fear, that the problem is not interest, that it's not that they're not interested. I think that they are afraid of doing it, because I talk with a lot of my colleagues, female colleagues, and they were like, I could never be able to do that. It's so much responsibility, you need to cope with so many things and stuff like that. But it's not like I mean, yeah, there are so many, you need to have so many responsibility, absolutely. You need to learn how to handle it, and that's true. But I mean, it's not that a female cannot handle it or a man. Also, I received a lot of comments like female can give more, girls can give more psychological support to the athlete. I've met male coaches that were amazing on giving psychological support to the athlete. So I think it's just a matter of courage, because what I saw, they're really missing the courage to try and to see what happens. And I think that we should encourage that, and maybe pay some more attention to this kind of topics in order to help them break the ice. Because, as I said before, knowledge is the most important thing, not where you come from. Are you a girl or a boy? That doesn't matter at all. You just need to encourage them more.
Yeah, definitely. So, could you explain a little bit more about your role in the team Novo Nordisk?
Yes. So I'm one of the coaches. There is 4 of us of Team Novo Nordisk, which is a very special team because this is all type 1 diabetes team. The mission of the team is to, inspire, empower, and educate people that have type 1 diabetes, and to show that it is possible, to do some great things. I'm following some of the guys of our team, and we usually meet like 1 or 2 times during the year on training camps and then over the races. And I'm following them on everyday basis in this period even more, because it's difficult for them also from the motivational part. But that's the main thing. I mean, coaching, analyzing, but like really dedicating your coaching to the biggest details, because this is the perfection. I mean, they're not machines. Absolutely, they're not machines. First of all, they're all human beings and then athletes, but it's the perfection. You can try whatever idea you have, because they work in an amazing way. Like, it's physiology made person, which is amazing. So that's mostly my job.
Okay. Have you ever been here in Granada in a high altitude training camp?
No, we usually go to, we went to Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, Sierra Nevada.
And usually it's Altea, Alicante.
Okay.
But
so next time you come to Granada, I'll take you for tapas. So
yeah, that would be amazing. Amazing.
Yes. I wanted to, regarding the team, and since you mentioned all of the riders have type 1 diabetes, I do most of my job, or I've done a lot of job in the Middle East or countries. I lived 2 years and a half in Kuwait, then I moved to Bahrain, and I have a really strong relationship with those countries where the diabetes is a huge problem in there. So it's crazy. I don't know if the team itself has any strategy to kind of encourage or empower such a regions to overcome difficulties, etc., etc. Because I never heard about them, and will be great to kind of bridge projects if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not, the best thing about this team is it has like a double mission. One, it's the racing, sports, a professional cyclist team, and then you have also this mission which is more, inspire people. And this is something that you really like. And maybe this is the point where we are really connected as a family, not as a sports team, but really connected as a family. Because when you go to a training camp, it's amazing. Like you work a lot, but you spend time with your family, and those moments are the best of our racing year. And this is something interesting about the team, because we do a whole lot of initiatives of inspiring people, also searching for young riders during our talent ID camps, in order to find riders that have this kind of condition, because it's in the end it's a condition, and to inspire them to do great things, because it is possible. And even when we go racing, it's not just go to the race. We also try to educate people around the team, and use the team as as a tool for spreading the inspiring message behind of it. So absolutely, that's something that we do on a daily basis. Yeah.
Will be great to follow up a little bit more in this topic, because I'll be more than happy to help if there is any chance of how you say, bringing more people on board, or just trying to revert some kind of situation that these countries that I really love are suffering, unfortunately. So you just mentioned that you also stand for an education, when it comes to coaching. So coaching is not, I always say, not only I say you do. So as I said at the beginning, I'm more interested on the whys, and I also try to explain the athletes I work with, why are we doing what we're doing, and I'm trying to awaken the critical thinking. I don't want ships that follows whatever I say. So what are for you your main pillars of coaching?
But the first thing about the coach itself, he needs to be a good listener, and that's something that you really need to be good at. And then about the coaching itself, you need to accept that if you have 10 athletes, you're going to have 10 different individual programs. You need to accept that every program is made to be, remade the day after. So when you make a program, unfortunately, it's not math. So it's not 2 + 2 doesn't make 4 in endurance sport. So you need to be prepared to change on an everyday basis, and you need to study, like really study a lot. And the most important thing, I think for the coach is to be, really humble, because if you're humble, the work can open in front of you, and you can learn a lot of things. I met many coaches that don't listen, that have their own ideas, my way or the highway. That's not it. That doesn't work with the athletes, because athletes won't follow you for years. Absolutely, they need to trust you. So the first thing is that they absolutely need to trust you. You need to have a trustful relationship with your athlete. You need to show them that you're, the person that cares the most about their career, performance, and everything regarding sports. And you need to be a good listener, because as I said before, you are training a human being. So we can study physiology, we can measure training load, we can take data about lactate, heart rate, time in zone, wherever we want. Sometimes things just go wrong, and they don't go wrong because he's tired, or I don't know, physiology is not working, because human physiology is amazing, but it's because something outside of your sport is going wrong, even for the pro guys, and also especially for the amateur guys, So I think these are the main pillars. Then you can study, and you need to study all the time, and you need to stay humble, because if you stay humble, you can learn from anybody that you meet in your life. If you're not like this, you're gonna, close the door before you even open it. So that's the most important thing. And even if you meet a coach that you don't like, maybe that you disagree with him, he can teach you something. He can teach you what not to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can always teach something. You can teach the positive things, and you can also teach what you shouldn't be doing. So that's, I think, the most important thing.
Yeah.
I cannot do that here because this is it's going to be recorded. But I would say the best lessons I ever had were during the beer talks after the congress, the trainings, etc., etc. So that's where you have your master degree in coaching.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's you need to exchange experiences. It doesn't mean, I don't think that there's something right or wrong. Absolutely, there are some concepts that you need to follow. I mean, that you need to train in a specific way for your sport. There are some things that I think all normal coaches are going to be, are going to agree on.
yeah.
But at the same time, there are some ideas that I don't like, but it doesn't mean that I don't need to listen. Maybe that idea doesn't work for me now, but it's going to work for some other athlete tomorrow, or it's going to give me some information that will start another idea interesting in my head. So I think that you should listen to everybody, because you can learn things that you can, start doing from tomorrow, or things that you are never going to do. So you can always learn something.
Yeah, definitely. So it's very different to coach professional cyclists who are going to be on tour for a week or 3 weeks, versus athletes who are racing ITU distance. It seems everything, or the 10 goes towards more fast and furious racing. So we're saying, Super League. Also, Marisol was saying the other day that E2 will try to incorporate a sprint distance race at the Paris Olympics. So we're going to have standard distance, sprint distance, and the mixed team relay. So considering this fast and furious racing, what do you think are the key physiological parameters you consider important?
Okay, so you only need to take in consideration the performance model. Is the Olympic triathlon now the main discipline for us? Yeah, because it is on the Olympic Games, but I mean, at the same time, everybody's trying to get to the Olympics and absolutely do that race, but in the same time, you have a whole bunch of World Cups that are sprint and Olympic distances, and in the same time, you have a team relay on the Olympic Games. So, I mean, you need to take into consideration the performance model, the physiological performance model that is active now, and consider your athlete, because some of the athletes, are more made for fast and furious races, and some of the athletes are more made for Olympic distances. So I think that, you have the main physiological aspects that describe every performance, which are a great VO2, a great fractional utilization of VO2, a great energetic cost. Okay, so you need to have a low energetic cost, and then you have also anaerobic threshold, lactate tolerance, and the tolerance of fatigue. So these are the main aspects of every preparation that should be, incorporated into your performance model, and that should be adapted to the athlete that you're coaching. Absolutely. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of variety of trainings, how you can develop anaerobic threshold, how you can develop VO2, how can you work on, not losing so much running economy after you get off the bike and stuff like that. So, I mean, those are really important aspects. It's this 5 things that are more important, but you can open a word in every single one of these parameters.
Definitely. So for me, and this is the message we're trying to deliver in the courses, and that's why we do in the level 2, we do the first session is about the physiology. So if you don't understand what you just said, then you have the first problem. So you cannot call yourself coach if you don't know what it's a VO2 max, or you don't know what's anaerobic threshold. You can write programs. That's okay. But most probably, if a doc or whoever will write programs will pretty much have the same result at the end. So to me, physiology is the first thing any coach should understand and should know how to develop, because you will say VO2 max, okay, that's you go online and there are thousands of pages, but how are you going to develop it? Do you need to develop it? How are you going to measure it to see?
Absolutely. And the most important thing is, is not to something that I saw on ITU course when I was a student. When you see this is an example of VO2 of developing VO2 max training. Like, everybody takes a photo, but that's not the only training that you can do. I mean, if you learn how to develop VO2 max, the utilization of fractional VO2 max, or lactate threshold, or anaerobic threshold, if you learn the mechanism, then you can invent as many workouts as you want. You need to work on strength, but strength training is, it's not looking at what best athletes are doing. It's just, to take information from them and understand the mechanism of maximal strength, of working with elastic bands and stuff like that, and then to adapt it. I think that's the most important thing. But you need to have really clear concepts. I remember when I was a student, I was obsessed with studying. I used to study like all day, every night, because I used to read like 10 books of physiology, and then, they maybe did the new edition the day after. And I was like, no, I need to read everything. Maybe there was just another new like phrase or 3 lines new. I needed to read everything because I was obsessed with physiology. I needed to study everything. But I mean, you shouldn't be like that, but that's a great approach,
Yeah, well, at least to have the basics, the foundations, you need to have them. Because I do believe you will, based on what we are discussing, you will agree with me. But I think the sports science definitely helps you to back up your decision as a coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's nowadays, when performance models are so developed, and when our sport is changing so much, I mean, as you said, it's fast and furious. You need to read the books, but the thing that we have now are scientific articles. Even your friend Roberto, he's doing an amazing thing in triathlon and sports science applied to triathlon, but really applied. He's amazing in this thing also. Milet, we should have like in 2 days on a coffee talk. So I mean, we need to always try to follow what are doing these guys, because we have the book. Physiology is written like over and over again. You need to study those things, and then you have the articles which are more specific, but you won't understand them if you don't have the basics super clear. So that's the thing. And it's a pity if you find Vincent during a coffee talk on ITU course and you don't know the basics, so you can't have a coffee talk with him because you don't understand everything. So you miss the opportunity to learn new things. So I mean, that's important too.
Yeah, it actually it is. I had a call with Gregoire Millet last week, because in order to discuss what we're going to talk on Wednesday, and he was saying, my last paper about the physiological parameters in triathlon was published in 2011. So I don't know if I'm he was saying to me, I don't know if I'm in a position of actually saying anything, because it has changed so much since. Say, okay, don't worry, I know you're going to do it fine. Man, I don't know how many researches Gregoire has published, through his career. So it's to me, it's a pleasure to have him on Wednesday and to have this actually contact, with what you said, Roberto, Gregoire. There are many others that are doing really good job. So what kind of sources do you use in order, because we know when you read the scientific papers, a lot of people get lost in translation, I would say, because the statistics or the terminology, it changed a lot. The terminology, if the article has been written in UK or it's been written in America, or sometimes it confuses people about the lactic threshold or the LT1, LT2. So it's difficult for them. And I do believe we have a a role there or a responsibility there to bridge this gap, no, between the scientific papers and bring it down to the earth and make everybody to understand the terminology. So what kind of sources would you recommend for those coaches who are starting? And okay, if they go to the scientific papers, they just don't understand anything.
Yeah, that may happen, but I mean, you have also articles or reviews. So if you read a review, it's more, it's described in the problem, the phenomenon. So it's more, it's easier to read, and it's adapted to everybody, let's say like this, but it's a lot general, like it's not as an article that goes, right straight to the details and studies precise phenomena. But on the other hand, every book of physiology, I would recommend first starting from physiology, human physiology, and then sports physiology, because otherwise you're going to have an initial gap in between. And then you have, like, for instance, I really like your ITU hub, which is amazing because it's something in between. I think that you guys should work on it a lot, and I would consider on young coaches to work more and have access to it, because I think that it's something in between. It's not a scientific article when you get lost in the middle of a whole bunch of references and statistics, but it's easy to read. But in the same time, you need to have the basics. Otherwise, you're not going to understand everything. It's just going to be a whole bunch of infos, and that's it. Also, we have a lot of good blogs. Podcasts like this are an amazing place to learn experience, and you don't use that language scientific that is difficult to understand. And we've managed quite well also with for instance, the Training Peaks blogs, because it's a software there a lot of people use, and they write in a really easy way, and it can also help you analyze the data, because I mean, a lot of people use Training Peaks but don't understand what it represents. It can be a really amazing software if you understand how to use it. It's a powerful tool, But I mean, first you need to start from the basics. If you want to, depends what you want to do. If you want to just, write the trainings and the programs, it's not one thing. If you want to really become a good coach, you need to understand how a human being works, accept that a human being may become a great athlete, and then work on the athlete. And then it gets really hard to understand the athlete. Then you need to learn also the statistics and everything, because it's inevitable,
Yeah, I have to say, and when it comes to coaching, because I've been around for quite a bunch of years already. So I'm saying the more I read, the less I know, because the more I read, or the more I'm delivering courses, etc. More questions I have. Is always, I don't know. I never had the feeling of saying this training plan is gonna work. So it gets me really, really mad when I see on these sport magazines plan for, I don't know, running 10K or 5K in, I don't know, 18 minutes. Then I'm like, come on, how's that possible? Why are you doing that to us? It's not a good advertisement at all. So
it's always the same. There is no shortcut. There is no magic poison. There is no shortcut. There is no magic recipe. You just need to study and figure out what's the best thing that is working for your athlete. I mean, you won't become a good runner if you read how to run 5 kilometers in 50 minutes. It doesn't happen overnight. You first need to be, from the physiological point of view, an amazing human being, and then you need to really have a lifetime of training dedicated to that goal. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but it's not going to happen. So you need to also be honest with your athlete.
Definitely. And this is something coming back to these influencer things that I was mentioning before. When they deliver this kind of encouraging messages, no, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. It's like, no, unless you have the physiology, forget about it. I don't know if you've seen it online, but there is a picture of, I think it's a rhino, running on a treadmill. And there is a poster of a unicorn on the on the right hand side, and it says, "Oh, if you can dream it, you can achieve it." I'm like, no, if you're a rhino, you always be a rhino. So stop stop killing yourself, because the goal is actually not clear or realistic. You know? So this is also when it comes to the education. If I show my athletes that in order to raise ITU, you have to have a VO2 max of certain number, then okay, if you're like me, that you have 55, no matter how motivated you are, no matter how many hours you want to put, it's just you don't have the engine to race in such a category.
But
just
I mean,
find
that's
another
fine.
one. Yeah, it's fine.
But that's fine, you know, because that's the thing. I mean, you can dream big, but you need to be realistic. I mean, we're not all born to be pro athletes, you know, and sometimes it's good because, you know, a lot of people think, oh my God, they're living like high life pro athletes. They just need to ride the bike 7 hours a day. They need to train, swim. I mean, it's not like that. When it's January, it's cold, and you live in Italy, and you have the fog outside. You need to go riding at 7 a.m. and it's freezing, and you still need to do it, you know. So it's not always amazing. Yeah. And I mean, if you're an amateur athlete and you have your everyday job, maybe the day was awful, and you can, you know, just go for a run. If you're a professional triathlete and you did a bad swim, a bad cycle, and you need to go for a run and say, okay, I'm going to do a good run. It's going to be difficult sometimes, you know. So sometimes you just need to accept that you're not made to be a pro athlete, and that's okay.
And that's it.
And I can have my realistic goals and be happy with them. Absolutely.
Definitely. And this is something I was discussing with Javi Copendoya in Bahrain last year, because I asked him, okay, how can you maintain the motivation, you know, through all those years? And he was like, well, it's my job. Do you think, you know, I was saying, do you think I feel like extremely excited when I wake up in the morning and I have to go to the pool knowing that I'm going to have a really, really tough set? Well, sometimes you do, but most of the times you don't. But it's your job. You know, after 15 years, the fun is still there, but it's not as, you know, as funny as it was at the beginning. So it's, the problem is, okay, what they are showing, or what we are showing on the media, is only the good. So the same when we go for a camps, no, you always share the laughs and the good things. But I remember going to camps, waking up 6:30 in the morning before the athletes wakes up, prepare everything, collect data. The athletes are having breakfast. You are just plugging devices all over the places. They're having discussions. Then you go for lunch. So your day starts at 6:30, but finishes at 11 p.m. So there is, okay, we love what we do, but it's not that fun if that will be our, you know, day in, day out job. So that's.
But it's because they're not machines, you know. They have their bad days. They have their problems outside of the sport. I mean, sport is an amazing thing. I don't consider myself working in sport because I absolutely love it. I'm the happiest person ever because I don't consider it my job. I've been doing it for quite a few years now, but I've been absolutely loving it. But in the same time, you know, it's difficult for them. It's wrong to think that, you know, they're just living the high life and enjoying it, because professional sports is really difficult. I remember what Ashton Eaton said, a decathlete, after his last Olympics, when they asked him, what's the best thing about your medal? And he was like, after I don't know how many years of professional sport, he was like, that it's over. So now I'm, you know, I'm going to start gardening now. So it was interesting, you know, it makes you understand that sport is the most beautiful thing ever, but it has its difficult side, and you shouldn't, you know.
Yeah, and especially if you're an athlete and your contract depends on your performance, because you well said they are not a machines. It might, many things might happen, and this is again a war I have against the unqualified coaches, that they said, you know, most of them, they say, no, I look at the faces of my athletes and I know, you know, how they are. And I'm like, okay, so there are thousands of, you know, things ongoing in the human body, and only, you know, in a look, you know what's happening. By looking, you know everything. So man, I wish I could, I would have developed this skill, because
this is some new vision scan that they know everything just by looking. That's
definitely.
cool. I mean, you can see a lot just by looking at your athlete when he arrives to the training, but it's different because if you can understand how the athlete feels that morning when you look at his face, it's because you're spending every single time with him and a lot of hours, and that's why you know it, not because you're a coach. Yeah,
superpowers, etc., etc. But it's a combination of many things. So it is not only what you need to do what is in the paper. You can also ask and talk with them. How are you feeling today? Why are you feeling that? So, yeah, Kristina, it was a pleasure having you around. So it's been an hour already, and Instagram is about to kick us out. So
perfect.
Many thanks once again for joining this kind of initiatives and for all the valuable information you have shared with us. I wish you a successful. You're having a successful career, but I wish you a longer one. And looking forward for this situation worldwide to be over, and let's see if next one can be a live one and not through on a screen.
Absolutely. Hope to meet you somewhere, not on Instagram, or maybe for a beer in the middle of the races, or I don't know, some coach's curse or something like that. It would be interesting to have a, really live chat.
Definitely. And I also would like to thank you, the team, for letting you joining the coffee talk. So the content will be available for 24 hours here on Instagram, and also I'll try to post it on YouTube for those that have missed it. And nothing else to add. Thank you very much once again, and stay safe.
Stay safe. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.